How's it going? Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely, very excited myself. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. I can't complain. Thank you. How are you?
Absolutely well. Thank you so much. It's finally going to happen. Exploited in Germany this coming Friday, finally. It
I
took a
know
while.
I think with COVID happening and then just everything went down for two years practically. It just kind of like people don't realize the amount of time it takes just to make a movie without COVID. And then you have COVID hit and it's like crickets every day. And then so even like when it came out, last year, um, and it was being screened and there was being talk about it. I had to like find out through some random Instagram post someone sent me. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like news to me, but it's good news. So it's been a fun adventure, but I'm excited.
No, but it's so funny what you say about, that people are not aware how long it actually takes for a movie to be completed and to come out, especially during COVID, of course. But, sometimes I have friends, I'm like, hey, they're actually doing a new movie of this. And they're like, oh, is there already a trailer? I'm like, no, the movie's coming out in 3 years. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're like, what?
yeah. They just have the script, so give it about 2 to 3 years, basically.
Yeah. It's crazy. And again, people are like, it happens like that in a way.
I guess in front of their eyes it does. It's like, hey, this movie's coming out. That's cool.
Yeah,
Let's go
yeah,
see it. Two and a
yeah.
half hours. It's like a year per hour of movie.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. And so, I mean, what I like about your movie actually is the fact that, before I watched it, I was like, is this going to be like a slasher, like a typical slasher where it's about, a high body count, it's about, killing a character off you don't even know or like after every 5 to 10 minutes. And
Yeah.
it was so refreshing to find out that you really take your time with the world and the characters because very often you get to know like one character to max in a teen horror film, and here you get to know like every single one. You get to know them. You get to see what they are struggling with and everything. And the moment you finally know them and finally care about them is like the moment hell breaks out, and that's the moment. Oh my gosh, there are so many characters, but I don't want any of them to die.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a purpose to everyone in that plot and story, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, but some things do happen, and it like even as like the actor side, like the I mean, you have the camera in front of you. You can be like acting. The personal aspect is like, no, I don't want you gone. Like so, you
Yeah.
like build those relationships within the character, and yeah, it wasn't like your typical. I mean, love those slasher films, but there's character development
Oh yeah.
throughout every person.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I enjoy like the slashers where it's all about bloody and stuff. Of course, they can be fun as well, but it's refreshing this way. The movie obviously kind of shows us how damaging technology, modern technology can actually be it like computers, smartphones, social media, whatever is
Mhm.
around. And I was wondering, especially as a public figure, is that something that ever worried yourself?
I've thought about this even prior to the movie and after, and even since I was little, everyone's like, "Oh, you got a webcam; they can watch you." And so to see and then you have the aspect of you're right, social media, which can destroy you or make you, and and so there's always been that slight worry of not to get all conspiratorial, but of being like, huh, like what's truly going on? Because there's so many advancements that I don't know about. Like we said, like I'm so down here while people up here, like who knows? So it was fun to play a character where it's like, oh shoot, like this is very relatable.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I love maybe someone could take it as like it could be their underlying or subtextual message behind it, but it's scary to think about. It might not be
Oh
so
yeah.
fearful of the movie, but like it makes you think about a lot of fear that could be had.
Sometimes I'm like, because whenever like a friend or so is logging in into your streaming profile, you get like a message, hey, somebody from there and there logged in, and you're like, ooh, and then you remember, oh yeah, of course, it's that
Yeah,
person. But like for a second, you're like, ooh.
yeah. I'm like, what? No, delete, reset password. Kind
Exactly.
of like course correct. And then they're like, oh no, I was just trying to, like, it's my mom ordering something on Amazon. And I'm like, oh, thanks for telling me, mom. But yeah, I freak out.
Right. And what about, social media in general? Because obviously, Miss Walker in the movie teaches her students about success and social media, Instagram, and is very proud, obviously, about her free best-selling books. I was wondering, would you go as far and say that that like social media profiles in the entertainment industry have become almost more important than actual CVs?
Absolutely. And I have like a very, my thought towards social media is a very positive thing, but also a
Mhm.
very, it could take an, I mean, the opposite course and go negative. I think it's extremely important in our business.
Mhm.
On like a, one, like for me, I like to show like a character I am on social media and the fun I have. I'm not trying to put on, like a front. Like I'm always just gonna be Jordan. And if you want to follow me, cool. If you think I'm a dork and don't want to follow me, like cool, to each their own. But I think it has its benefits for business, for film, for creativity, giving people opportunities. But I also don't want to see it hurt someone who maybe thinks like, oh hey, I have these huge, like you should have big goals and dreams, but like almost expecting more of themselves, and maybe they're in a place where they can't be that big social media influencer or super
Yeah.
big, or they get sad because they're not there. So with me, I try and give a platform where it's like, I can be loving, kind. I don't care who you are. I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't do many ads or like or sponsors because I just kind of want to like show my true self. And if maybe if I really like the product, but I think it can go both ways. Uh, yeah, but I think it's benefited me and it's benefited a lot of people significantly.
But it sounds like it's like you're using it like the healthy way because I actually an actor once told me, actually two actors, one told me that um it puts a lot of pressure on him, and I mean he has almost 10 million followers. He still believes it's not enough to get like the next part. And then another
Uh,
actor told me that she sometimes doesn't know if she were not given a part because she wasn't fully convincing as an actor or because the other one had more followers.
it's a big no. It definitely ties in. I mean, I work a lot. My coach, he's awesome. I've been working on him for years now. But with him, you do see a lot of opportunities presented to social media influencers, and so they will. The why I bring him up is because he will private coach them as well, and there are a lot of, because of a numbers game, almost like a social credit score, like that Black Mirror episode where
Yeah,
like you're judged based off of it does tie in because you'll receive opportunities because if it's going to benefit the production or the studio, because they have a big following as it is. I mean, it's almost free advertising right there.
yeah,
Um,
right, right.
and it hurts sometimes to see that because I do have friends who are really good actors and
Mhm,
actresses who
mhm.
don't have a big following and their talent is through the roof. And it hurts me because I'm like, if I see someone who has like a must hire or a shoe into a role, I'm like, man, my friend that would have been great for this. And even roles I've gone out for where I've gotten great feedback. I loved my audition. Everything was great, but they already had a must hire before the audition. And with me, I'm excited to just have the opportunity to put myself in front of casting, in front of producers.
Mhm.
But it definitely is tying into Hollywood at the moment, which I don't think is bad. I think it's there's a cycle of where you'll find what's going to work in television, and if you're starting to hire people because they have 10, 15 million followers, they can be a great actor or actress. I'm not denouncing that,
Yeah,
but
right.
the audience will tend to lean towards what they enjoy most, so they want a good performance. So I think it's just like this back and forth of like, oh, great actors, no followers. Like with me, when I booked Huge in France, my first role,
Mhm.
so green, didn't have anything, no followers. I
Yeah.
just got to be in the room with casting and show myself versus my tape my social media. It was just me and them. They got to see Jordan, and I got to tape and read as a person with them, a person bringing out a character. And it was the first biggest success I ever had. And it was just, I came from a small town in Hamul called
Yeah.
Hamul in San Diego. Like, so it was, I truly believe for those who are kind of down about like, man, I don't have many followers, right? This person got hired. Like, just stay your course and be patient and persistent, and the right role will come for you, and you'll get a lot better too as an actor. Just putting in the work versus a handout. But again, nothing against them. They got the opportunity. I'm all for
Yeah, sure,
people
sure. Yeah.
getting opportunities, but I think you really show your chops when you just grind down and put in the work, and then you have that moment where you do book something, whether it's a student film or a short or something huge, and you're like, man, that feels good because you worked so hard.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean,
Yeah, I'm getting all passionate right now. I get the chills.
no, but it's so interesting. It's this whole social media thing is very complex because very often it also doesn't really work out. Sometimes they do have people with huge followings, and then the movies still do not perform the way they do because in the end, it's still like the movie that needs to attract people. And if the
Mhm.
trailers fail to do that for whatever reason, people may not show up, even though if the actors in it have like a huge following. And sometimes it's also weird that sometimes you have like established actors who've been in the business like for 20, 30 years, huge names. And then now with this streaming world, an unknown actor from today, tomorrow might have like triple the following that like an A-list actor has, like who's been in the business for forever. So it's been really weird in a way.
Yeah, it's very there's uncertainty, which and which I like because it causes spontaneity as
Mm.
well.
Mhm.
Uh, and so it's just you're kind of like in that mindset of you never know, but you got to try your gosh darn best because I mean me, I'm very competitive in like in a good way, like with myself, with others. I'm not gonna like pummel you because I want you to lose. But in terms of if someone has a higher following, it's going to put a fire under my butt to work harder. And I think a lot of people might stress and get sad, and like we're human, it's normal, it happens. But I think also that little bit of stress is needed in a industry where it surrounds you, and if you can just like pummel through it, people see you, and yeah. But it's been crazy the past couple 5 or 6 years to see the dynamics of just so many shifting within the industry.
Right. And I was wondering, because in the movie, pretty much every character gets leaked in a way. So there's always informations about characters that they don't want to be out, but they do. For example, Janelle does film something that she's not supposed to film. Obviously,
Yeah.
Jeremy is hiding who he really is, and so on. And so they all have something they want to keep a secret.
Mhm.
I was wondering because especially for public figures, I remember an actor telling me that one day he had his family calling him and said, "Hey, don't you think this information would have been too important to tell us first before we find out through media?" And then that actor told the family, "Well, you know what? My girlfriend did not even know that I was going to propose to her." So it's like secrets get out for whatever reason and however, but it's like you are not ready to share something with the world, and sometimes you don't really feel the need to share it with the entire world, just with your closed ones. But often public figures, unfortunately, are like the targets of stuff like that. And I was wondering, what would you say can you do in order to protect every information that you don't want to be everywhere?
I mean, it's tough. I think you have to, in regards to social media, uh, you have to almost have not a slight filter or a thought going into whatever you
Mhm.
post, especially as a public figure, someone who's is well known with the possibility of you might be judged for this,
Oh yeah.
and so going into a post or something you say, something you do, an environment you might be in that could have negative effect on you. I think you always have to have this thought of what is the risk, or what concerns do I have? How will this make me look? And not that you can't be yourself. Like, I hope you're like, not you, but like in general, people are like kind and loving and like have good intentions. But and so you shouldn't shy away from being yourself, but also like, okay, I'm a public figure. I'm quite well known. I need to be smart and polite and know that any negative thing intentions I have could be immediately like that. Whether it's a bad mouth, whether you're talking with your best friend at the moment and it's just like you're just kind of like having fun and riffing,
Yeah,
and that comes out, and it's happened, and it's scary to think about because you can just go downhill in a second. So to
exactly.
protect myself, this is gonna be a funny to answer your question. I love talking, so I apologize. Let me know if I go on mumble too.
No, that's so great. That's so great because sometimes, I have actors who are like, yes, no, you see that they are really interested to talk about it just because they have to. Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, I absolutely love talking. I feel like I
oh,
have
that's
purpose
great.
in.
Lucky for you.
Well, I don't get offended if you tell me to put the brakes on too. I have like family members who might have like a boyfriend or girlfriend coming over, and I'll be like, just let me know if you need me to stop, because if I don't want to like bother them, because that's how much I will start talking to people. All right, but
Oh,
for
good.
me, mine, it's crazy because through as I got old, I've always been this is gonna sound so sappy. I'm such a mama's boy. I always go into every action, whether it be and not everything. Obviously, if I post something that's irrelevant to her, it's just I'm not gonna like be like, oh, would my mom post this? But in terms of like any action I take, speaking to people, speaking to both women and men, posting, talking to a superior, like anyone, it's always in the back of my head of like, my mom raised me to be this genuine, kind
Mm.
man. And with every course of action I take, I always think of like, would this make her happy? And it might sound so cheesy,
Oh,
but I love my mom so much.
oh, that's lovely.
I'm such a mama's boy. I'm going home tonight for Thanksgiving, and I'm so excited. But truly, she is such a kind-hearted, selfless woman that I always think like, what would make her happiest? What would offend her? And I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions. But like in terms of those moments where you might have a slip up, and we're human, it happens. But I try to go into everything with the intentions of what would make her happy, what would make her sad, what would disappoint her, and she's good. She'd love me regardless, but it helps me stay on track.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I can totally relate to this because I have like a similar relationship with my mother, and we are Italians, and so they are like always like very connected anyway. But yeah, I totally relate to this, totally.
May I ask you am I allowed to ask you a question?
Yeah, of course, of course.
What's your all right? You said Italian, so favorite
Oh,
favorite food,
favorite food, but it doesn't have to be from Italy, whatever, or from it.
both from Italy, and then because we're big, I'm a big like pizza fan, but it's got to be very specific. Like I really want to go to Naples someday.
Oh, all right. Well, are you familiar with pinzas? Not pizza, pinzas?
No,
All right. So that is like the sister or brother of pizza. So like the dough for pizza is different. It's like more a little bit more fluffy. And
okay,
after eating it, like you don't feel as full as while eating pizza. I mean, the calories are the same, but you feel different, and it also feels different in your mouth because like the dough is very different. So it's
oh
more
man,
fluffy. There's like more air in it or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know if we have that here in Los Angeles, but I'm gonna look for it.
It's like the original title is like Pinza Romana.
So I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, now favorite food outside of Italian food, whether it's like American, whatever that is, or I'm curious.
Actually, uh I am like totally the sandwich guy. I am like, yeah, I mean, it's like very, it's not creative or anything, but
You
I like,
we're already friends.
no, don't tell me. Are you also a sandwich lover?
Anything you can put in your hand and eat. I've had a so for my birthday the past 5 years, I've gone to the same restaurant and ordered it's I mean it's a burger, but it's and a sandwich like at times, but like it's always something I put in my hand and just eat. Yeah, I love sandwiches.
Oh, that's not so. Whenever you are in Germany the next time, we go like to a sandwich shop or whatever, and then we have like the most giant sandwich we find there.
Love it. Do it. We can do an interview as we eat the sandwiches.
Yes, you know, like, the next interview we do is like with while eating sandwiches. Like
All right. I'm dead. I'm gonna
you,
hold that to you.
so
It's gonna happen.
you showcase like your American sandwiches, and I showcase like Italian ones
Oh
or
man.
German ones.
I might have to like wave the white flag. You might win already.
Well, this is going to be the Jordan and Carmine sandwich podcast. I
All
call it.
right. Yeah, I'll schedule this prior to the movie.
Yeah. All right, wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah, and so also there's a scene in the movie where your character gets actually punched from Jeremy, and it's something because Janelle is almost angry at your character because she doesn't understand that your character kind of feels sorry for him anyway, even though he punched him. But obviously, your character kind of knows and understands what Jeremy is struggling with and what he's going through. And I was wondering, would you say that sometimes we need like similar experiences in order to fully understand another person?
Yes, 100%. And I think we go into a lot of our relationships with others looking at our perspective of them
Hmm.
rather and maybe you might not understand something they're going through. I think sometimes before even for myself, I personal experience I've had with issues I've had and others not understanding because they wanted to project or just they just never been in that position before has taught me to think, okay, let me put myself in their shoes and try and understand what they're going through and give them a chance, an opportunity. I won't judge a book by its cover. I don't care what you look like, how tall you are, how short you are. Like I think we all have our own experiences, and that needs to be respected before you place judgment onto them. And so, yeah, you do need to understand what someone's going through because you never know. They could smile every day in life and have a social media where they look like they're happy, and they could be the saddest person. And so, I think that's good to look at them as a human and not a figure and just be understanding.
Oh yeah, and it's so funny that you mentioned like book covers because I have a friend who's like always sending me over book covers, from books he bought because of the cover. He's like, "Look at this cover, so beautiful," and then like the next day goes like, "I sold it. It's such a bad book." It's like,
Well, at least it's like a trailer. At least they had a good cover.
yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Oh man.
Something that is also a topic in this film is curiosity, obviously, because your character is very curious about what he finds. At first, he's like amused, then he's like turned on, and then he's like, after he finds out that a person got killed, he's like, "Ooh, what is this?" And he tries to investigate in a way. And this is like this form of curiosity kind of leads into danger because he gets too curious, and obviously that person isn't very happy about that. And also because obviously curiosity is what we all have in common, and sometimes it's like we are obviously curious because it's like what brings us to where we want to be and whatever. It makes us want to learn and stuff, but sometimes we can be too curious, just like Brian. I was wondering if you ever had a moment where you had to tell yourself, you know what, maybe I should not no longer be too curious about that direction.
Absolutely. And I'm a very I'm a very curious person because I'm so interested and I won't be nosy. Like I'm not that curious to where I'm like smelling you out, trying to figure out, or like I know my limits of respecting privacy, but curiosity has driven me very far because I don't know whether it's a psychological thing of like
Mhm.
it's almost like the chase in every aspect of life is the best part. Whether you're an actor, the chase of you can visualize yourself on the red carpet someday, but everything in between that was the most fun aspect in terms of I think the journey. So my curiosity will lead me on a chase, but I will know when it's this is not good for me or others,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I'll know when, okay, this is like innocent. I can go with this from like a I want to know more type of view. But in college, like with the movie, my curiosity leads me down this trail of experimentation. And I think that's a big aspect of college as it is. You have kids leaving home, going to school. They're not being watched. They're living on their own for the first time. They're in college. So there's this mental mindset of like, oh, I'm going to go out and have fun and do this and do that. And they are very curious because they're 18 to 22 years old learning. Um, and maybe they have less walls.
Yeah,
Um, and so you could, like the movie, go down this path of, I kind of like this. I'm going to play with this and experiment and see how it feels. And it could lead you into something that again, not going to spoil the movie, but how the movie turns out of just not what you really expected.
absolutely. Yes, exactly. I mean, I remember, because I actually talked to John Abrahams as well, a few months ago.
Oh,
It wasn't
yeah.
for this movie because there wasn't even a trailer around back then. But I remember how passionate he really was about it. And he also showed like the mask because he was like so proud because he was like also developing it. And it was just so he, even though I hadn't seen anything of the movie, he was already able to sell it to me through his passion that felt real.
Yeah, it was really, I was very happy to work with him. The first day he sat me down and he made me feel very comfortable and aware of what was going on. And it made me that much more excited as you probably were sitting down talking to him to see the movie because that's how I felt prior to even shooting it. So yeah, he was awesome. I hope hopefully work with him again in the future.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Expecting the return.
I know we'll see. I'm
Or
not
this, if not that, then sandwich the movie.
yeah. I see that sounds fun too. That's like comparable. I would love that.
Yeah, sandwich slasher or something like that. Yeah.
With the sandwich
What,
slasher.
whatever comes to mind. But this movie obviously is not a sandwich slasher, and there's something that Jacob says. He goes like when he leaves your character in school, he goes like college is about finding out what you want, go after it. And I was wondering if that is something you would agree to, or what would you say? When did you find out what you really want in life as an artist?
Yeah, that's I always tell this, so I don't always tell it, but when it's asked, I tell it because most friends I have, they've been acting since they were little. Friends I have now here, my friends I grew up with are all like in the Marine Corps and police officer, like
Wow.
so,
Yeah.
so different. But I was that kid who grew up playing sports every day and coming home, never theater, never in the arts, nothing. And then I got scouted one day at the fair and to try modeling and then eventually acting. And I was funny enough, I was eating a sandwich, like stuffing my face, and a guy came up to me. And since that day, to scout me, and it totally fell into me like having this plan of what I thought life would be,
Yeah.
and then trying acting. And I think my first monologue, which was from Swingers, took me about 4 days to memorize, which now would probably take me like 4 minutes. So like just to show how green I was, and this whole entertainment and the arts was not part of my life at all until I was 18 years old. Um, and so my plan was to go to college and like get a degree, do everything by the books because I worked my butt off in school to get there. And then I fell in love so much with learning about something so new in my life, being able to play a character, being able to like finally open up. I was very shy and express myself and have fun. And it's like playing like
Oh, yeah.
when you're a 4-year old and you're just kind of like acting with your friends. And I got to experience like this fun in my life that I could conceive within me, not that had to be an external,
Mm.
internal source of happiness. I got to just play, and that was such a grasp on like my like what's the word? It just grabbed hold of me of what like excited me and what I found fun. And so I didn't go to college. I had every intention to. And I think it has its place. I don't think it's necessary if you have a goal, unless you have to have a degree. If you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, and it's legally you
Yeah.
have to. I think you can find if you just work hard enough and like truly will give it time and patience, and you'll learn, and you'll just have everything in your toolbox when the opportunity arises. I don't think you need to go to school, but I respect and can
Mhm.
see the benefit of also doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's especially nowadays, like we said, with social media, it's like you can create your own business at
Oh,
15 years old. Like it's
yeah, yeah, it's like unthinkable, right? This was unthinkable like 10, 15 years ago.
yeah, I think the traditional route has definitely made people think like, huh, maybe not so necessary, but I see its benefits for many as well. So to each their own with what they want to pursue.
Absolutely. Wow, seriously, Jordan, thank you so much for your time today. Seriously, it's such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you
Oh,
for your deep dive responses, and it's very insightful. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
oh, thank you for having me. Anytime, honestly. I truly enjoyed this. And hopefully there'll be a number 2 or another movie coming out, or I'll see you in Germany. I'll have some, or Italy. Germany.
Absolutely. And please enjoy your first Pinza Romana.
Yeah, I'm gonna, after this, I'm gonna go onto Google and look it up as it is.
Yeah, 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 do
Be
that.
like, Mama, I got a word from a friend. We gotta try pizza romana. She'll be like, what's that? Be like, I don't know, but we're gonna try it.
Right. And if you don't like it, I'm gonna pay it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an actor. No, I'm just kidding. If
Awesome.
it's good, I'll like it.
So awesome. It's okay, Jordan. Seriously, you have
Well,
a
thank you again.
thank you, and you have a great day. Much success.
Thank you. Hopefully see you soon.
Absolutely. It will be a pleasure. Thank you so much, Jordan.